Hi guys, this is Subhash, Aptitude trainer from Durga software. Now let us start our session with one wonderful topic from the reasoning. It is directions. Directions topic is very important in all competitive examinations. We can expect 90% the question from directions. So already you know something about the directions. Can I ask you a question? What is meant by directions? Yes. Tell me, what are the basic directions? Yeah. Do you watch TV? Which channel? News channel. What is news? N-E. The news channel N-E-W-S. It is news. Stands for what? N-E-W-S. You watch news. This stands for what? These all are the basic directions. North, east, west, south. From there the directions started. Let us start with the basic directions. Can you tell me what are the basic directions? Already you told that is the north, east, west, south. Can you show me the directions? In which direction north and where south, where east and west? So these are the basic directions: north, east, west, south. This north, east, west, south are basic directions. And next, more, what are the different directions? In between them, the corner direction. It is the state directions: north, south, east, west, and there are corner directions also. That is in between north and east. It is northeast, in between north and west. So these are the corner directions: northeast, northwest, southwest and southeast. It is basic directions. Apart from this, more, what are the different directions? Yes, please. Left and right, wonderful. So left and right also the different directions. And anything else? Yes, please. Forward and backward, wonderful. So forward and backward also other directions. Anything else apart from this? Basic directions are north, east, southwest, and corner directions left, right, and forward and backward. And anything? There are other directions also. It is nothing but angular directions, means moving angular direction. That is angular directions, means a person standing like this. For example, I am standing like this, I am facing to you. Fix these directions, the basic directions: north, west, east, south. If I stand like this, opposite to me north, this is east, this is the west, and my backside is south. Now I am facing to north. If I turn through an angle 90 degrees, it is going to be east. So this is the angular direction. So angular directions are, in terms of degrees we mention about the angular directions. These all are useful solving the problems in directions. First we should thoroughly understand which indicates which direction. According to that, questions are solved. Then coming to the questions, what are the different type of questions are there in the directions? To work out the questions in the directions, we need to have little bit idea, little bit knowledge about the geometry also, especially the right angle triangle. We learned about the right angle triangle in 9th class or 10th class, only the basic thing. Can you tell me what is a right angle triangle? Yes, please. Yeah, this is the right angle triangle in which one angle is 90 degrees. There are three angles. Where could be the 90 degrees? Yeah, here this is 90 degrees. So 90 degrees forms there. According to the angle 90 degrees, all the three sides are named. What are the names of the sides of any right angle triangle? What is a particular name of one side in a right angle triangle? Is hypotenuse. Then where will be the hypotenuse? Exactly opposite to 90 degrees. Here this is a 90 degrees, opposite to 90 degrees, the side is hypotenuse. And what about the other two sides? The remaining two sides, you can consider one side is side 1, other side is side 2. You can take any side as side 1 other than the hypotenuse, and the remaining side will be side 2. So if I consider this as side 1 and this is going to be side 2. there is a relation between all the three sides. If any two of these three sides are known, we can find out the third side. How can we find the third side? If side 1 and side 2 are known, you can calculate hypotenuse. If side 1 and hypotenuse are known, you can calculate side 2. There is a relation between all the three sides. There is a special name also, very familiar name. What could be it? Is Pythagoras theorem. By using the Pythagoras theorem, you can calculate one unknown side if two sides are known. What could be the Pythagoras theorem? It is nothing but hypotenuse square is equal to side 1 square plus side 2 square. By using this relation, if two sides are known, other side can be found. This is going to very much useful in solving the questions of directions. Now coming to the questions. How many types of questions are there in the directions? There are only three types of questions in the directions. Types of questions in directions. The type 1. This is purely related to clocks. And type 2, this related to shadows. And third one is distances and directions. On the whole, there are only three types of questions in directions. One is based on clocks, and other is shadows, and then distances and directions. By taking examples, let us see what is the question, what is the type of the questions in clocks asked, and what is shadows question, what is the distance and directions. Let us start with the questions. So let us start with the clocks, the type 1 we are doing now, clocks. What is clock? Do you know what is clock? Yeah, it is a clock. What do you notice? What do you observe in the clock? There are numbers 1 to 12. There is a minute hand. There is hour hand. Few things we should know. Every day we are looking at the clock, but many things we don't know. What happens in the clock? A question is, for example, what is the time the clock is showing? It is, yes please, 10, right? The clock is showing 10 o'clock, maybe PM or AM, we don't know. Is it 10 o'clock? No. Why? When the time shows exact time, 10 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock, the minute hand must be on 12. The minute hand is not on 12, that's why it is wrong time. The hour hand is showing 10, but the minute hand is somewhere else on 2, which is showing wrong time. So we should understand, whenever the clock shows the time exactly 2 AM or 2 PM, minute hand must be on 12. Even 5 o'clock, minute hand must be on 12. 6 o'clock, minute hand on 12. For the round number, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 10 o'clock, even 12 o'clock, the minute hand must be on 12. It is a wrong clock. In our questions, we don't have this type of wrong clocks. In case it is the right clock, let us see what happens for the question. Take a question on clocks, type 1 question. What is the question over there? A clock is so placed that at 2 PM, the minute hand points towards northwest. In which direction does the hour hand point at 6 PM? Do you understand the question? There is a right clock, not wrong clock. In a right clock, initially the time is 2 PM. At 2 PM, minute hand is pointing northwest. Means when your watch is showing 2 PM, you adjust your clock or your watch where minute hand is showing northwest. Now without disturbing the watch position, the time may run. At 6 PM, it is asked to find in which direction the hour hand is pointing. Then how are you going to calculate? We don't require pen and paper to calculate the clock's question, only visualize. Close your eyes, you can visualize what is happening. So you need to visualize a clock and set the time 2 PM, then set the watch position such that the minute hand points towards northwest. And wait till 6 o'clock or adjust the time at 6 o'clock, then check it out in which direction the hour hand is pointing. Let us see how it works. In the question, 2 p.m. is one time and 6 p.m. is other time. At 2 p.m. minute hand position is towards northwest. See, so in the question first to 2 p.m. the minute hand must be northwest. We know the directions, and set your watch such that the minute hand should indicate northwest, and that is about the 6 p.m. The minute hand is showing northwest. See where the minute hand is showing. The clock is right clock, it is at 2 o'clock, the time is set, and the minute hand is showing northwest. We don't disturb this clock, let the time run, let the time go. Exactly at 6 o'clock what happened? See, at this is the 2 p.m. minute hand is showing northwest. Now 6 p.m. in which direction our hand shows? We are not disturbing this clock but only adjusting the time, that is 6 p.m. So if you adjust the time at 6 p.m. can you tell me the hour hand is in which direction? It is 2 p.m. or 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. always the minute hand will be on 12 only. This is the right clock, that's why at 2 p.m. the minute hand is on 12, even it is 6 p.m. the minute is on 12. So our hand, when exactly 6 o'clock is indicating your watch, the two hands will be in opposite direction. In your watch, in any watch, if the time is exactly 6 o'clock, hour hand and minute hand will be opposite in the directions. So at 2 o'clock minute hand is on 12, which is northwest. Even 6 o'clock the minute hand is northwest, 12 on 12. Then at 6 o'clock the hour hand will be opposite to the minute hand. So opposite is nothing but southeast. Your answer is going to be 6 p.m. hour hand is showing southeast. So your answer is going to be southeast. So for your question, for this question, southeast, option D is your answer. Yes. Shall we take one more question? This is about the clock or watches. And next question. What is the second type question? It is related to shadows. Can you read the question? One evening, Mr. Perfect was standing facing a pole. The shadow of the pole fell exactly to his left. Which direction was he facing? Is the question. One evening and morning, what it indicates? Evening, what happens evening and morning? This purely related to shadow. The shadow is due to the sun's position. The sun rises in the east and set in the west. So here the question is related to evening. Evening means in which direction the sun should be? In the west. So the sun position is at the west. At the time, a person, Mr. Perfect, is standing facing the pole, means he is looking at the pole. Now the shadow of the pole should fall exactly the person's left. So in that case, in which direction the person has to face is the question. How are you going to solve? Visualize. That is the evening time. We know the directions are north, south, east, west. So in the evening time the sun should be in the west, and say a pole is there, and in which direction the shadow lies? If the sun is west, the direction of the shadow must be towards east, and imagine where the person can stand. Will you try, or shall we do? Is the question clear? That is the evening time, and Mr. Perfect standing facing the pole, and the shadow of shadow of the pole should lie left to the Mr. Perfect. See how can we solve? We know the basic directions are north, east, south, west. The time is evening. Evening means the sun should be east or west. It is west. Okay, sun is at the west. Now who is there more in this question? Mr. Perfect is there. He is the Mr. Perfect. He is going to be Mr. Perfect. And what about his shadow? Sun is at the west. His shadow should fall to left of Mr. Perfect. So his shadow is falling at the left. And in our question, one more thing, pole is there. Okay, there is a pole, and even the pole's shadow is towards east. there is a shadow. See how the Mr. Perfect is facing to the pole and the pole's shadow is falling to left of Mr. Perfect. Then in which direction he is facing now? Can you check in which direction he is facing? He is looking towards south. So he is facing towards south. So south is going to be your answer. This is how we visualize rather than working out with pen and paper. If you can visualize the position of the sun and the position of the shadow, you will be able to answer to the question within 10 seconds. For this reasoning questions, rather than doing paperwork, visualization is very, very important. If you imagine, visualize something in your mind, you will be able to work out the question in 10 to 20 seconds, I am sure. Shall we go to the next question? Yeah. The next question is, what is the next question type? That is related to distances and directions. Distance and direction. The first one is clocks, second type is shadows, and third type is distance and directions. Go through the question. One day, David left home and cycled 10 kilometers southwards, turned right, and cycled 5 kilometers, and cycled 10 kilometers, and turned left, and cycled 10 kilometers. Now, how many kilometers will he have to cycle to reach home straight? This is very important. The word reach home straight is very, very important. There are two types of distances. One is the path in which a guy traveled, and other is the straight. Straight in the sense it may not be the original path in which he traveled. Straight in the sense that we can say from ending point to starting point, draw a line. It is going to be the straight length. In this question it is asking, is a way his straight distance from ending point to starting point. This is the question. Will you try? Yeah, let us do this question. Is question in your mind? What is there in the question? David left home, cycled 10 kilometers southwards. First he was facing to south. 10 kilometers he traveled, then turned right and cycled 5 kilometers. So we should have all these points in the mind to work out the question. In this, how many turnings are there and in which direction? First, starting is, he is towards the south. He is facing south and traveled 10 kilometers southwards. After that, turned right, then cycled 5 kilometers, means traveled 5 kilometers, and cycled 10 kilometers. What does it mean? Without changing the direction. First he traveled 5 kilometers, then traveled 10 kilometers, and next 10 kilometers and turned left. From there he turned left. This is the third change. Turned left and cycled 10 kilometers. There are three changes in his travel. First he was facing to south, 10 kilometers traveled, there took right turn, traveled 5 kilometers and 10 kilometers, then took left, traveled 10 kilometers. And the question is, how many kilometers will have to cycle to reach his home state? What is the state length from ending point to starting point is the question. How to work out this question? This is the third type of question, that is asking the distance and directions. This is a paper based question, means we have to work something on the paper. Take your paper and mark the basic directions north, east, west, south. Draw the diagram according to the instructions given in the question. Then you will get a solution. Let us solve this question. Okay. These are the basic directions, north, east, south, west. Mr. David starting, but the taking starting point is very, very important. Always start from the exactly center. Then you can solve the question. This is the starting point of Mr. David. Let this be David's home. Now, in the first, towards south, traveling 10 kilometers. Where is towards south? He has to come down. What is the distance he has to travel? 10 kilometers. So, from the starting point, he has to travel 10 kilometers. This is the first one, south 10 kilometers. After that, what he did? took right. Now Mr. David is towards south, took right means he has to turn like this towards right, in the sense means he has to turn to west, right, in the sense. So he is turning west and 5 km. He traveled first 5 km and 10 km. From there its continuation is 10 km. Now he is facing to west, means like this he is facing. Then what is the third change? He turned left. Left means he is facing in this direction. Left means he should move towards south again. So in the south direction it is a 10 km. Now this is his ending point. So this is total the changes took place in his traveling. He started from home. First he was facing south, traveled 10 km. From there he was in the south and he took right in the right direction 5 km and 10 km. After that he took left and traveled 10 km. The question is, what is the straight distance from ending point to starting point? He traveled till here, but he wanted to reach his home straight like this. Then the straight distance we need to calculate. It is going to be the straight distance. We need to calculate this. Then how are you going to calculate the straight distance from this picture? Yes. With this picture we cannot calculate anything. We don't get the correct value. For that, think logically. To calculate the distance from starting point to ending point, there we need a right angle triangle. You try to construct a right angle triangle, then by using the relation between the sides of right angle triangle you can calculate this distance. So you can construct a right angle triangle in two ways. You can extend this line and draw this line. Here you are going to get a right angle triangle, or else you can extend this line till here and draw one more dotted line over there. Now you got a right angle triangle. In this right angle triangle we need to calculate this length. It is a straight length. Now can you tell me what could be this length and what could be this length? Yes please. Yeah, this is going to be 10 plus 10. This is 20 and this is here to here. It is nothing but 10 plus 5, 15. So the other two sides other than hypotenuse, this is hypotenuse and other two sides are side 1, side 2. Side 1 is 10 plus 5, 15 and side 2 is 10 plus 10, 20. When side 1 and side 2 are known, how are you going to calculate the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse square is nothing but side 1 square plus side 2 square, as we know. Then hypotenuse equal to under root side 1 square. Side 1 is 10 plus 5, 15, 15 square, and side 2 is, that is 10 plus 10, 20, 20 square. 15 square is 225 and 20 square is 400. So that is total 625 under root is 25 kilometer. So your answer is 25 kilometer. So in our question, in this question your option is, what is your option? A 10 kilometer wrong, B 15 kilometer wrong, C 20 kilometer wrong. Actually our answer is 25 kilometers, so none is going to be your answer. These are the three types of questions in the directions.